wild. Even at the most crucial moment. Such are the wedding ceremonies and the first wedding night in some parts of the planet. In today's video, you're going to learn about the most amazing ways the first wedding night begins in some places around the world. Did you know that there are tribes where the groom is forced to sleep with his girlfriend's female relative? Countries where the groom's friends kidnap the bride during the wedding. Places where young women go to the men's house before the wedding night, or a woman must marry several husbands in order. Would you like to know the details of the 10 most amazing rituals in the world? Don't miss this new video from Uncensored World. And enjoy it until the end so you don't miss any of these unusual rituals. We assure you that you will be surprised. France. Intimate relationships accompanied by loved ones. We start with one of the strangest and most amazing rituals. Although, as you'll see, it's not among the most impactful on the list. In the extraordinary ritual known as the turn ante. In France, the involvement of friends and family reaches a level of intimacy that is surprising and unique in the world. Although it may seem unbelievable, in La Turn ante, loved ones are invited to witness the consummation of the marriage. In an act of openness and trust, unparalleled, the newlywed couple shares this intimate moment with their loved ones, who may be present in the room while this union takes place, which might seem bold and unimaginable to many cultures. For those participating in La Turn, this experience is seen as an act of unity and collective celebration. The presence of friends and family in the bridal bedroom. It symbolizes the support and unconditional love that surrounds the couple at the beginning of their marriage. It is a powerful testimony of mutual trust and the deep connection shared between the newlyweds and their community. This practice has historical origins that date back to ancient times. According to some narrations, this ritual was meant to ensure the sexual union of the heirs of powerful families, including kings and nobles, hoping to ensure the continuity of the bloodline and the power of the dynasty. With the passage of time, this practice has fallen into disuse and has become increasingly rare in modern society. However, there are still voices that suggest that, in some remote corners of beautiful France, conservative families keep this ancient tradition alive, albeit with modifications and adaptations to the times. Current, this practice defies conventional norms and breaks down cultural barriers, highlighting the uniqueness and the richness of French traditions. It's a poignant reminder that love and togetherness transcend physical and social boundaries, and that true intimacy, it is found in the acceptance and mutual support of those around us. Russia. Bride stealing. In some corners of Russia, there is an ancient ritual that has endured through generations, known as bride stealing. This intriguing ritual takes place in remote villages. Traditions have an immense weight in people's daily lives. The bride robbery is considered to be one of the most exciting and mysterious, mystery-filled moments at a Russian wedding. The stage is set. Ready. Night envelopes the landscape with its dark and silent mantle, while the villagers congregate around the houses of the boyfriends with stealth and cunning. The groom's friends plan and execute the audacious act of kidnapping the bride in a role play where emotion and intrigue intertwine. Young friends dress up in traditional costumes and glide through the shadows, avoiding detection by the watchers. Once the bride is captured, a kind of negotiation begins between the kidnappers and the bride's relatives. This exchange is neither violent nor dangerous, but rather a symbolic ritual that reflects the bond between the two families. That's when the bride's ransom is negotiated with gifts, dances, and jokes while the bride watches from a distance, participating in the game with a mixture of nervousness and fun. At last, when a satisfactory agreement is reached, the bride is released and taken back to the groom's home. where the celebration continues until the wee hours of the morning, thus marking the beginning of a new life together. As you can imagine, this ritual not only strengthens the bonds between families, but also adds a touch of There are many places in the world where the virginity of the bride during the wedding is highly valued. For example, this is the case of Ethiopia, but this type of practice that you are now going to know also occurs in countries such as India or in cultures or traditions such as the Gypsy. In the case of Ethiopia, the innocence of the newlywed is proven as follows. The first wedding night begins with the woman wearing a white mask prepared by the families. It will be later on this object that traces of blood must remain after the intimacy of the newlyweds. To control these virginal relationships, the groom's witness and also the bride's mother, they will remain in the house checking that the ritual is performed correctly. Both wait for the result outside the door, and once the intimate relationship is over, the bride must show the piece of cloth that she wore on her head with traces of blood after the performance of the intercourse to the children. Guests, if there is no blood, it is considered a total distrust of the woman, and, unfortunately, this fact gives the groom the full right, not only to punish the bride with a whip, but also to throw her out of the house and even demand the full amount of the ransom as compensation. Papua New Guinea. Young women to the men's house. On the exotic Trobriand Islands. Located in the heart of the South Pacific and belonging to Papua New Guinea, a fascinating ritual known as like the ritual of poaching. This unique cultural practice challenges Western conventions about love, marriage, and sexuality, offering an intriguing insight into the traditions of this part of the world. In this ritual, young women have the opportunity to engage in intimate encounters with different men before marriage, as an integral part of your transition to life. Adult, unlike Western norms, where virginity before marriage is often valued, on the Trobriand Islands, intimate exploration is considered a vital preparation for marriage and motherhood, which is especially surprising. It is the attitude of openness and acceptance towards these encounters. Instead of being disapproved of or considered taboo, they are seen as a natural part of human and social development. These gatherings are not marked by stigma or shame, but are celebrated as a manifestation. Freedom and autonomy of Trobriand women in the exploration of their own sexuality. In addition, this ritual reflects the deep connection between intimate relationships, fertility, and everyday life on the Trobriand Islands. These encounters are believed to strengthen social and family bonds, as well as ensuring the prosperity and well-being of the community as a whole. As you have been able to see and surely imagine, the ritual of poaching in the Trobriand Islands offers a unique example of these practices, challenging Western norms and highlighting the rich diversity of practices and rituals in the world. Zambia, sexuality lessons before the wedding night. In Zambia, a fascinating. For the first wedding night, it demonstrates the deep respect for intimacy and the importance of knowledge. This country spares no effort to address intimate affairs, even going so far as to organize complete master classes on sex. The funny thing is that the wedding night doesn't start after the ceremony. Rather, it is prepared in advance. Before entering into the intimate union, the bride immerses herself in a preparation process guided by experienced family members willing to share knowledge. The newlywed carefully absorbs every advice and recommendation from the elders. Only after this preparation, meticulously, the bride is escorted to the groom's home, where the newlyweds begin their intimate relationship. At the beginning of the next day, the young bride arouses everyone's curiosity by inquiring about the details of the night before. In this society, there is a widespread interest in knowledge applied in practice. Everyone is anxious to know if the teachings passed on were useful. This open dialogue and the pursuit of continuous learning. They reflect a deep respect for shared experience and a belief in the importance of knowledge for a fulfilling married life. India, a woman with many husbands. In South India, among the whole tribe, a tradition flourishes. Intriguing and uncommon marriage known as group marriage. A practice that challenges conventional norms about monogamous marriage, since it involves several men marrying a single woman, which makes this tradition particularly exceptional. It is the ceremony that marks the first wedding night. During this special occasion, the newlywed woman embarks on an intimate ritual that involves having sex with each of the men who make up her marriage group. This act is often performed in a specific order prescribed by the tradition itself and is considered essential for the consolidation of this group marriage. This ritual is not only about satisfying sexual desires, but it is also imbued with cultural and symbolic meaning. It is believed that by sharing physical intimacy with each husband, a woman establishes a deeper and more equal bond with all members of her marriage group. In addition, this practice may be related to beliefs, fertility and harmony within the marriage group, as well as the transfer of energy or power between husbands and wives. Through group marriage and its associated rituals, the Toda tribe continues to honor and preserve their ancestral traditions, while challenging conventional perceptions about marriage and sexuality. This fascinating practice offers a window into the diversity of ways in which different cultures approach the fundamental institutions of society, like marriage and family. Before we go any further, we take this opportunity to ask you, what do you think of these rituals? Which one surprised you the most and why? Pause the video and leave us your comment. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's the best way you have to support Uncensored Worlds and help us keep working to bring you videos as fascinating as this one. So thank you. Namibia. Sleeping with a female relative of the bride. In the vast lands of Namibia, the Himba tribe preserves an ancient tradition of marriage initiation. That will surprise you, as it has surprised us by researching these rituals. In this ritual, the groom is expected to engage in an unconventional act before consummating his union with the bride, and what may seem to be the groom is expected to have intimate relations with a female relative of his fiancée. This act, far from being seen as taboo, is considered a powerful way to solidify family bonds and to ensure fertility and success in the marriage union. In the Himba worldview, the connection between the bride's family and the groom's family is vitally important, and this ritual is perceived as a means to strengthen those bonds, creating an indelible bond between both families. In addition, this act is believed to be imbued with a deeper meaning related to the transfer of energy or power between families. By physically uniting the groom with a relative of the bride, a symbolic flow of strength and vitality is established, which is transmitted from one family to another, thus ensuring prosperity and harmony in the new union. This ritual, although it may seem strange from a Western perspective, it is an expression of beliefs rooted in the Himba worldview and reflects the importance of connection and fertility in their culture. Indonesia. Marriage by death. Surely, this is one of the most puzzling and incomprehensible rituals on this list, and almost all of them are mind-blowing. In the remote Mentawai Islands, located deep in Indonesia, an extraordinary and perplexing initiation ritual takes place, known like Menikah or marriage by death. This ancestral practice, rooted in the spiritual beliefs of the Mentawai tribe, it challenges Western conventions about marriage and the afterlife. According to this tradition, it is believed that a child must marry a corpse to ensure his spiritual protection and future marriage. In the ritual of marriage by death, a ceremony takes place. A symbolic one where the child, under the guidance of the spiritual leaders of the tribe, is spiritually united to the corpse. This act is considered crucial for the child's spiritual and social development, as well as for their future relationship. Matrimonial. What is even more puzzling is that this ritual may include having symbolic sex with the corpse as part of the marriage by death process. This activity is not interpreted in physical terms, but rather as a symbolic act meant to strengthen the spiritual bonds between the child and his or her future spouse in the spiritual world. For the Mentawai tribe, marriage by death is more than just a ceremony. It is a crucial step in the journey towards maturity and integration into the tribal town, although it may be incomprehensible to outsiders. This ritual reflects the deep connection between life and death in the worldview of the Mentawai tribe, as well as their commitment to traditional and spiritual practices that have endured through generations. Uganda. Relationships with the groom's best friend. In the fertile lands of Uganda, among the distinguished Badoro tribe, a marriage rite is performed that arouses the curiosity and surprise of outsiders. The rite of ritualized polygamy. This uncommon and fascinating practice involves an unexpected twist in marriage conventions, where friendship between men and female fertility are intertwined in a singular ceremony. In this rite, a man who seeks to marry a woman must, before consummating the marriage, allow a close friend to have intimate relationships with her. At first glance, this act may seem disconcerting and provocative, but for the Badoro tribe it is an integral part of the marriage process. What makes this rite particularly remarkable is its dual purpose: solidify the friendship between men and ensure the fertility of women. To the Badoro tribe, friendship between men is as precious as the marriage union itself, and allowing a close friend to have relations. Sex with the bride-to-be is an act of trust and camaraderie. In addition, this ritual reflects the deep-rooted beliefs in fertility and prosperity in the Badoro culture. Herself. He believes that by sharing intimacy with a close friend of the husband, the woman ensures the fertility and well-being of the marriage. It's a way of invoking the blessing of fertility upon union, thus ensuring a prosperous future for the couple. Israel, the brother who is to marry the widow. In the ancestral traditions of Judaism, there is a practice that evokes both respect for family continuity and the complexities of human relationships, the law of levirate. This law states that if a man dies without leaving issue, his brother is obligated to marry his widow and beget offspring in her name. What makes this practice unique is the emphasis on preserving the family line and respect for the decedent's legacy. During the first wedding night between the widow and the brother of the deceased, the couple is expected to consummate the marriage to fulfill this religious and cultural tradition. This marriage rite, although it may seem unusual to those unfamiliar with Jewish customs, it represents a deep connection to the roots, cultural and religious aspects of the Jewish people. It is an act of honor and commitment to the legacy of those who have departed, and a manifestation of the importance of family and continuity in Jewish society. In addition, this practice underscores interdependence and support within the Jewish community, where the fulfillment of family obligations is considered a sacred duty. Through the fulfillment of the law of the levirate, it is ensured that the legacy and memory of the deceased continues to live on through the offspring, thus preserving the identity and history of the Jewish people throughout the generations. As you can see and probably think, the planet is a really good place. Surprising both in terms of its wonders and in its cultures and rituals. A place with as much diversity as there are people and realities. With these unusual and impactful wedding traditions that are still being carried out. And although some of them betray ways of life very different from ours that still exist, We should ask ourselves if it's them the odd ones out, or are we the ones? Our way of life, principles, and ethics has a lot to do with the way we live. And we have been educated over the centuries of our own history. Thinking about it, we'd like to ask you, what do you think of these rituals? Which one surprised you the most and why? Would you change for some of them? Pause the video and leave us your comment. Doing so is the best way you have to help this channel and help us to keep working to bring you the best content. So thank you. And don't forget to subscribe to Uncensored World so you don't miss any of the fascinating videos we make every week. Videos as surprising as the one we leave you with.